And welcome to EV Cruising on a Sunday night. Hi, I'm Rosco, and welcome to, a relaxing cruise around the EV marketplaces and just to see what is exactly going on. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on live on YouTube, and if you're watching can catch up later on, thanks for joining us. I'm Rosco, and you would have had to have been on the moon for the last 2 weeks to miss what's been going on in the used EV marketplace here in Australia and perhaps around the world as well. Tonight we're going to see if we can still find out if there's any bargains left out there. Is there anything still to buy? Because what's happened is demand's gone crazy for new and used. Used car prices have just almost disappeared. Stocks are way down. You've seen it. You've seen me talking about it, and you've seen it out there as well. And of course, as a result of all that, the prices have gone up. So what was a bargain a couple of months ago and probably looked cheap, and we should have jumped on it, but we're out there tonight around the marketplaces just to see if we can find a used EV bargain, just to see if you still can get your hands on one. Certainly things are starting to move and change, and we can barely keep up. We're back from the moon, and we congratulate the Artemis crew for us. And, just an inspirational trip. We were following it, and just absolutely incredible. But back down to earth in our very own used EV marketplace, AmazingEV, where we're literally in the last couple of weeks just run out of stock. Everything's been sold. It's really hard to find new stock at the moment. So we'll put the call out to you. If you know anyone who's looking to sell, we're more than happy to list. There's a coupon down in the description below, normally $29.95. And if you want to list with us, we're more than happy to do whatever we can to try and help you sell your EV, because a few things are happening. One of them is, prices have gone up, but I think things have slowed down just a fraction as well. But we'll wait and see. We'll go back to AmazingEV a bit later on. And in the meantime, the mixed messages we're still getting from the media, really interesting at the moment. This one from last week, EV purchase wait times blow out as oil crisis spikes demand. That was certainly the case, and we've seen an extraordinary amount of interest at the Melbourne Motor Show. Take a look online. There's already a couple of great videos from Chris van der Stok and Dave Crockett from Beyond EV. They've done a whip round, and, you could be forgiven for thinking it was the EV motor show, because all the news and all the buzz was about the EV releases, new brands, new cars, new unveils. Perhaps I'm watching a biased media. Perhaps my media is skewed towards EV. Tell me if anyone saw anything about petrol cars or anything about petrol cars at the moment. So, hey, timing, everything electric is everything. But, hey, what a successful motor show. Congratulations. We didn't get down to see it, but have seen some great videos, some great cars released. Geely, MG4, Denza, congratulations all, and we can't wait to have a look at them. See them flow onto the used EV market, but it's certainly putting more downward pressure on new car pricing. That's for sure. New Zeekr X at, probably 10 grand. So they've sharpened the price of that up. MG4 much sharper as well. It really puts a new dynamic into the used EV market as well. So while prices of used EVs are going up, the prices of new EVs is going down. So, hey, thanks for joining us, Mrs. Amazing. Good to see you tonight. But this one, when the Daily Telegraph in Sydney are giving us advice or telling us the best EVs under 70,000, I know the world's almost gone upside down. So here it is from the peaceful dark side of the moon. Certainly looks sane and sensible from out there. I just love these pictures. We had to watch some of them yesterday, watch the splashdown this morning. Just what a fantastic moment. So reliving that for a few days as well. But moving on back to the Australian market before we dive into trying to find some of the bargains, if there's any left on the used EV market here in Australia. But this might be a short show tonight if we can't find any, but fingers crossed we'll find something. But in the meantime, again, this one from The Guardian, I didn't put the source up there, but this one from The Guardian, does it make sense to hold on to a combustion engine car? A tough question's being asked there now. Used EV prices rise as Australia's fuel crisis hits. So double headline there. The details in the fine print, and we showed a bit of this more recently, and we'll get some update on this data because it's moving around all the time. But down the bottom is used EV prices rise in Australia as the fuel crisis hits. The price of second-hand Tesla Model Y electric vehicles rose by 6%. At one stage, that was 9%. That comes from Reuters. The photo comes from Reuters. Some of the data we got suggested it was up 9-10%, and some of the pricing we might see tonight might suggest it's up even higher. Again, we can't wait to see how this unfolds, and we don't price cars. We track pretty closely, and things are moving very fast. But yeah, no doubt the prices of used EVs went up very quickly. No doubt the stock went down very quickly. But from what we've seen scanning around the marketplaces this weekend, prices are, they're high, and maybe they've peaked. And maybe there's some stock coming back on the market, which might suggest, we are going to start to see some downward pressure again, back to a normalisation. But yeah, we'll chat a bit more about that later on, because I think we've seen a pretty big spike. And if petrol prices are the main indicator, and the press staying on board with this argument and discussion, granted there was already a few negative articles over Easter about charger queues, and they're pretty quick to jump back on board. Again, this one from the Telegraph, I was surprised. This was only in the last couple of days. Again, giving us advice on Australia's best EVs under $70,000. So, geez, I don't know where they woke up and came up with that one from, but extraordinary. The Guardian's still on board. They get the message, but just how long that story sticks through. Again, I saw E10 down to 220 on the roads in the Sydney City this morning. So again, that's 20%, 10% up on $2 average. Premium 98. Look, if that was the driver, I think we'll see perhaps maybe the prices and the expectations, which perhaps are a little bit optimistic, of some of the used EVs come back down and normalise a bit quicker. In the meantime, today, we're going to have a look at see if we can find some bargains out there. But just a quick snapshot before we get into it. Again, teasing you there. Again, this article from Cox Automotive in the States. And fascinating about what's happened there, because they're living in their own bubble while they're sending people into space, and we're getting a view of Earth. In the US, the automotive horizon is a very strange place, because, of course, they took away the incentives for EVs late last year. New and used, was pretty big incentives for used EVs as well. But as it's turning out, it's all coming down to price. And this shows the latest quarterly results from Cox Automotive. Again, left-hand side, new EV sales, right-hand side, used EV sales. Incredible that used EV sales have jumped to, again, the scale's completely different. It's a completely different scale. But look at the headline numbers there for the last quarter. New EVs, 212,600. Used EVs, 93,500. That's about 40% from my rough mathematics. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's about 40% of the market now. Now, in Australia, we do something like we'll do close to 120,000 new EVs, and we'll do 30,000 odd. So it's a lot closer to 25%. But they are sprinting ahead. The used EV market over there is sprinting ahead. And of course, it comes down to price, because the bottom line is the bottom line there. The most striking data point is pricing. Used EVs now average 34,821 USD. That's probably close to 50 grand here. That means cars are more expensive. The average used car here is not 50 grand. Wow. And within just $1,300 of the 33,487 average for a used gas car, used petrol car. So they've almost reached price parity on the used car market over there. Now, between petrol. So two incredible messages from that data. Again, one quarter's results is not the year. They'll go on to sell still 800,000 based on that. Extrapolating that out, they must have had a bit of a spike over there, and look forward to seeing that as part of this quarter. But petrol prices, that's a big deal in the US. Car prices, that's a big deal. Used EVs seem to be very attractive, and just reminded me of the Ford Mustang, which is one of the top sellers over there. We'll have a look to see if I can find one here. I haven't talked about it for weeks now, and really enjoying doing this scroll around and cruise around the EV markets on a Sunday night, but hadn't once come across a Ford Mustang. So Must remember to go and just double check. But in the US, again, from the data I've seen, just cruising around and having a look and doing some research for tonight, it's just amazing that the US, Toyota in particular, Toyota are outselling Ford in EVs now. Now, again, Toyota, please bring a couple of them here. With the brand kudos and the brand reputation and almost 20% market share, it's time to start looking to the US. And they've done the exact opposite in the US. There's 3, at least maybe 4 models, pure EVs in the US now. They're outselling Ford in EVs. While the rest of the countries and the rest of the big OEMs have given up, Toyota are now quietly working their way. And they're not Chinese, they're Japanese, made in the US. So you've got the cars, we know you've got the cars. Subaru, the quiet achiever as well. Anyway, we'll see if they don't come up, but just fascinating, quick snapshot. And we'll cover a bit more of this later in the week, because I just found this today, looking at some of the overseas markets just to see if the same effect with EV prices going up was in play, and also with the demand. Now, I'm not sure if this gives us a full snapshot here, but starts to give us a bit of a picture of what's going on in the US, and couldn't find a hell of a lot of details, but maybe the UK. We'll check those overseas markets out to see if. But of course, Australia's got the Chinese cars. Australia has got the cheap Chinese cars. US does not have price pressure downwards because they are just not experiencing what we're experiencing in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. It was late last year the $40,000 to $50,000 range. Now it's the $30,000 to $40,000. There's YouTube videos on the best value car EVs between $30,000 and $40,000 now. So overall, when we're looking for bargains, used EV buyers, be cautious, because paying too much for a used EV just at the moment, when there's so many new choices available but are so much cheaper, I think that's another reason why the market will normalise pretty quickly, because with so many new offerings at such a competitive price, those used EVs won't stay high for too long despite the current demand. So let's take a jump in and have a look at some markets around. And what better one to go to first than, of course, AmazingEV. And here's one here. Here's a bargain here. This one's been up for a couple of weeks now. And again, I'm not sure why this one hasn't sold. It's in the in WA. Down in Baldives. Mrs. Amazing can give me more information on where that is. She's a West Australian by birth. So shout out to everyone in WA, and shout out to Murray as well. Good to see you, Murray. Thanks for joining in. It's never a dull moment in the world of EVs. It's certainly, never stops amazing me. This one here though, this MG ZS EV, fantastic first car. Just dropped the price down just below 20 grand. So one of our first searches tonight is going to be that sub 20 grand market to see if there's anything in that 20 grand range. And used to be littered with Nissan Leafs and some Miabs and a few other bits and pieces around that area. Used to be able to score yourself a good deal. Now there's an MG ZS EV in that range. It's only done 64,000 Ks. This is a fantastic car for anyone in WA. So according to my sources in WA, shout out to Ant and some of the rest of the guys in WA, I guess they've experienced in their own toilet paper moment in WA as well. Suddenly there's nothing on the shelves over there. So this is not just an East Coast predicament we've got over here. There's a shortage of used EVs over in WA. And jumped on the bandwagon. I think he bought another one as well just before the prices started to go up. He could feel it as well. And Day, Ava member, active on Facebook as well. But this one looks like a good deal. MG ZS EV, analogish on the inside, nothing special about the technology here. Android Auto, CarPlay. This will be my first bargain of the night. Sub 20,000. Eddie's had it on for a couple of weeks now. I don't know why it's not been snapped up. Can someone in WA go and buy this car? Because it is a fantastic deal. And of course, AmazingEV is our very own used EV marketplace. If you've got a car you want to sell or you're looking for one, let me know. We'll try and find one for you, and we will see what we can do to help you. We're down in stocks at the moment. We're lacking in cars. We can't find enough cars, and some of the data on car sales suggests they don't have enough cars either. There's probably, the last count we did, 200 or 300 in that range between 20 and 50, 20 and 40, that sweet spot. So not only are the deals hard to come by, there's outright. So expect to see that change in the next couple of weeks. We'll just see how that unfolds. But petrol prices, if they are the driver here, I think we'll see a bit more stock coming on. Hal, good evening, welcome. Hope you've had a good weekend. It's been a pretty relaxing weekend all around. Nice here in Sydney. So if you're watching us wherever, it has been very summery for autumn in Sydney town. I'm going to jump over to Tesla now because, perhaps you'd suspect that maybe they've got a bargain. From word of mouth, inquiries have been up at Tesla. And this is a New South Wales search for a start. What have we got? A Model Y done, 2023 Model Y done 68,000 Ks. Tesla want almost $58,000 for this one. That's no bargain at the moment. This was, probably 45, even without Tesla authorization, Tesla certification. They usually charge a bit of a premium, but didn't mean that you got extra warranty. Maybe you got a service warranty, but you didn't get extra car or battery warranty. So, this is indicative, and there's one car, I guess that tells the story as well. Where I was curious was Model S. They've been phased out, of course. Model 3s, nothing, and I'm focusing on New South Wales for my search. But here's a bargain. Perhaps the Model X might make some sense. If you're looking at a Model Y or the Model Y long range, this is somewhere that you might be interested in because, again, in Red Hill, I think that's Queensland, tell me if I'm wrong, Model X 100D, which is the 100 kilowatt hour battery, long range, 2019 certified pre-owned, range 6565, so just maximum range, massive range, 68,000 Ks. So this is extraordinarily good value, this one. This is a bargain now. Compared to long range, $83,000, compared to a Model Y long range, or compared to a Model Y even, what they're going second hand at the moment. Some are trying to get, this is an extraordinary good deal. This has got the 20-inch Sonic carbon wheels, enhanced autopilot. It is an extraordinary car. That's a great deal, I reckon. Have a look sideways slightly, have a look a bit left field, and suddenly you've got something that, from Tesla that actually might make sense. A couple more there. That's, again, 90 grand in transit to Chatswood, black on black. Let's have a look. Is that the 7-seater or the 6-seater? That's the 6-seater, 20-inch wheels again, all black premium interior, wood ash if you want something a bit retro. Dumb summon. It's got the enhanced auto, which was included. Again, Model X, these could be worth a look because, again, if you're looking up in that 675 at the Model Y, unless you're dead keen on the autopilot or FSD, this could make a lot of sense. 81 grand for 2019, it done 88. Again, that's probably a 90D with the lesser range. 22-inch wheels, 6-seater. Absolutely amazing. All 6-seaters. The 7-seater was a crazy one too. Although the 6-seater had the 6-seater did have the back row. So that's the configuration. That's the same configuration as the give us another look at that one. That's the same configuration as the new Model YL, but this is way more funky. And this was 7 or 8 years ago they mastered this, and there's a heck of a lot more room in this one. Still had a lot of time for the Model X. It's incredible, but let's move on. So maybe sideways, you could perhaps have a look at a Model X and see what's going on. It might make a bit of sense, right? Let's jump over and just dive in. We found this one on car sales. Put a search in for around 20 grand, and this one came up. Again, hadn't looked much at these minis at all, and this is probably the cheapest one I've found. Queensland car, 2020 at $24,900. Maybe they'll do better than this. It's only done 50,000 Ks. That's a nice car. Mrs. Amazing doesn't like the colour. What do you think, Hal? Are you a British Racing Green? But again, old school style. Nice, yeah, more mini-ish than the new ones. Maybe they're a little bit too funky, too retro. That's more mini style. It's certainly not a bad first effort. Again, they were pretty expensive. These were well over 50 new. Just a small reminder here from Mrs. Amazing. Please, if you're taking photos, can you vacuum the car? Prepare the car as much as possible with the buyer's interest at heart. Just a tip if you are selling. I'm sure none of our viewers or anyone listening would dare do this, but just please anybody, just run the vacuum around the car. It's worth it. These sorts of show the car in the best light when you're selling. I know they're flying out the door. I know people are getting a premium for them at the moment, but do the best you can. This would be a funky little car, maybe if they would do this at closer to 20 grand. They again, this one, biggest hurdle was the range. But if you're just driving to work and back, this is cool and this is small. And I like that at 25, 20, maybe closer to 20. I don't know the sellers here. We haven't had any contact. So no relationship with these ones. Nothing, not featured on AmazingEV, but scouting around the marketplaces and found this one. Going back to my search for 3,000 to 25,000, just now, don't forget in the old days, like 2 months ago, you could, Nissan Leafs for 10, 12 years old were struggling to get 8, 9 grand. They dropped from 12, 13 a year ago, and they were struggling to get 10 grand. And so let's just see if we can find a Nissan Leaf and we can find anything closer to 10 grand anymore, because that was only 2 months ago. Things change pretty quickly and they could change again. So love being part of this industry. Absolutely love it. Just since we started this only a month or so ago, just could not have believed, a month and a half ago, could not have believed so much would happen. We'd have so much to talk about. So makes it fun coming on, having a check through these markets, which I'm on all the time anyway, but sharing with you guys. Okay, another MG ZS EV, again, 20 grand. So he's on the money there with the one on AmazingEV. This one, that one in Perth, this one in, where are we? South Australia. So 2 states covered there. An MG ZS EV, all tides have not risen. Maybe the MG ZS EV tide has not risen. 20 grand, that's the money, something that's done. Again, 36,000. That's 20 grand. We're going to have a lot of cars, I'll call it now, in a year's time at 20,000 Ks. First car buyers are going to be able to buy a car for 20,000 Ks. I'll put this on the big screen. We're going to make a short out of this. First-time car owners are going to be able to buy a used EV, fantastic used EV, in a year's time, in early 2027 or mid 2027, for 20 grand easily, maybe 15 or 20. They're going to be able to buy a fantastic used EV in a year and a half's time. It's going to be the choice of every first car buyer, first used car. It's going to be the choice of every first car buyer, every first used car buyer to buy an EV in a year and a half's time. I can't wait to see that happen. All right, back to the show while we do the promo. Used EVs, $20,000-ish. That's good. That's good buying. That's all you need around town. Anybody who is looking to pay more for something, 30, 35K, this would be enough. This would be fine. First car buyer. A few people I see on Facebook looking for their kids, looking on behalf of their children, hoping that it'll extend out to the family. We always say, if you're happy to recommend or buy an EV for your teenager, son or daughter, I think that's the tipping point. It's not the fuel prices. It's not the price of new cars. I think once we get EV owners buying and recommending EVs for their teenage kids for their first car, then I think we might have reached the tipping point. What else have we found, Mrs. Amazing? Can we find anything under 20 grand anymore? I put in a search from 3,000 to 25,000 on car sales, and we'll check a couple of other sites. Yes, we have. A couple of Nissan Leafs again, Queensland, Victoria, that 85,000. No info on battery state or health here or range, but do all the searches. There's some great Facebook Nissan Leaf sites. This one, whether they're imported or whether they are local deliveries, is the main question to start off with. There's a lot of battery testing facilities, and don't forget, if you want a battery test, contact Nathan from Test EV. He's got people everywhere. He's got people in every city. He's got dealers doing pre-purchase checks on used EVs now. So a lot of dealers are now testing the battery before they buy the car. They've got the battery test there. They don't want to waste money on buying a car that is has got a battery fault or is not up to scratch or not up to average at least. They're testing them before they buy them now. Private buyers are testing them before they buy them from private sellers. It's getting part of the EV community. Nissan Leafs in particular have a few other ways to test. But yeah, the key thing is to make sure it is been this one. So genuine Japanese import for the Australian market. So I don't know what that means. There's still a few from the Good Car Company that have come across. Nissan is still happy to service those. It's still got the Chatamo fast charging port as well as regular AC charging type. So that may restrict you to charging at home. Do your research on Nissan Leaf. Again, perfect for ticking up to the shops and back again. If you want to get in, Queenslanders, again, 15, 14,000, 13,500. This was a $9,000 car. Is it still a bargain? Well, maybe closer to 10 it might be. Again, I don't know these people. I'm not going to put any pressure on them, but again, this might be a good deal. So this one should be fantastic. Which one are you talking about, Hal? The Epic should have a new car warranty. Which one? We're going back a couple. I'm not following the messages as closely as I should tonight, but fantastic. So look, these were $8,000. I had a couple sell listed similar cars, 13.5 for one that's done over 100, just over 100,000 Ks in almost new condition. It's got the 20 kilowatt hour battery, so range was a lot less on some of the original ones. Again, not much detail. Oh, Port Fairy. I love Port Fairy in Victoria. Great part of the world, all the way down near the entrance to that's a good point. What is that called? Near the entrance to the wherever. I'll quit while I'm behind. Check out Port Fairy down near the 12 Apostles, which is now the 10 Apostles, down that way on the coast of Victoria, across the bay, and no more dreamers, no offers. Okay, so buyers are getting pretty tight. They're sick of the bullshit, and please, if you don't want the bullshit, list on AmazingEV. I might contact them to see if we can't help them out, but not a bad car. Again, please keep taking some nice photos. We've got room for video as well. It's got the chargers. There's the details. Imported. So again, an import, 100% electric, zero emissions. Yeah, there it is there. So, Good Car Company. Still some good cars out there. These were genuinely verified. Some of you might have heard of the Good Car Company. They specialise in importing Nissan Leafs primarily up until a few years ago, till the real deal started flooding the market in terms of some of the choices that we have now. Some great cars came out, but just couldn't compete in terms of making $1 out of bringing those cars out of Japan. But checked them out, bought the best, had them verified for the Australian market, registered, away they went. And of course, Japanese being right-hand drive markets. Fortunately, the Chinese market is left-hand drive. Otherwise, we would see an absolute plethora of used EVs here in Australia. Anyway, they might be coming another way in the future, not via AmazingEV, but happy to endorse something that's come direct from Japan through the Good Car Company at the moment. Fortunately at the moment, OEMs bringing cars have had to have them right-hand drive market certified somewhere, usually through Thailand, somewhere else like that, to get the volume, to get them here. We've still got a heck of a lot of right-hand drive models here, but Well, if China was left-hand drive, we would see, if China was right-hand drive, we would see thousands. Of course, my favourite, the i3, again, haven't quite kicked on. Full electric, this one, again, in New South Wales. We've had one on listed as well, not getting more than 20k at the moment. I just love these. I saw one on the road the other day around Sydney. Driver, again, he was very happy. Stopped and had a chat. Just thrilled with it. He'd sold his Tesla to buy one of these. Again, low range, but just all you need, shops back, around the corner, up and down, park sideways. 2024, unbelievable. Travelled 76,000 Ks. Great car, this one. Love these. Just leave that up there because pure electric, that's, again, just... Yeah, I don't know the faults they're experiencing. I haven't done some background. We might do a deep dive on that to see what they have experienced, what sort of issues might have been. But 76,000 Ks, car's brand new. Had some funky trim, some funky wood grain. They were well ahead of their time. Again, this one, maybe at 15, maybe there's a deal there to be had. Don't know the owner on this one either. But really nice car. His name is Yixi. I hope I pronounced that right. Arncliffe. Yizzy, if it's a, do you pronounce the Z, Mrs. Amazing, X like a Z, Mrs. Amazing? Or an X, is it Yizzy or Yixi? Help me out. Hal's found a BYD on Gumtree, only 8.5, which is offers or overs should be 10 to 15, yeah. I know those, yeah. I'll find an BYD E6. I'm not sure BYD E6 because I'm not even sure if, I bet there used to be one for sale. Someone perennially had one on Facebook for a long time. Car sales, BYD E6, Facebook. There was one perennially on Facebook all the time. Content not available at the moment. It's cut me off. Images. This one here, it was on, this is the Mark 1 BYD before it all started. And a few of them came out as taxis. They were importing them directly. God knows what market they were from. I don't know what the range was. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd be tempted. There's some nostalgic value with some of the Nissan Leafs and i-MiEVs and the i3s, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'm tempted by Mark 1 BYD E6. Cheers. But you can dream, Hal. Dreams are free. So the i3, that's still a bargain. This one, I've seen this on Facebook, and I've tried to contact these guys. I'd love to. No, this one actually, this wasn't. This one's in Victoria. There's a couple of guys importing these up in Brisbane as well. Mitsubishi minicab. Don't know much about it. Again, it's the MiEV chassis, I think, with a van stuck on the top. 20 grand would be pretty optimistic for that. Perhaps you'd want to be checking the battery on that one. But if you get a deal on that, yeah. Graham Manietta is still changing batteries up there. Have a chat to Graham. AmazingEV, don't forget, if you can still find, if you've still got your old one and you want to get it upgraded and you think it's worth keeping, get a battery upgrade now because it might be worth it. It might be worth hanging on to that Nissan Leaf with a new battery or an i-MiEV that needs a new battery because Graham might be able to help it. And for what he can do it for, it might bring it back to par in today's market. Might be worth thinking about. So, again, don't know much about this one. Definitely a Japanese import. I don't think they brought these out. Reason for selling, bought new EV. I'd just keep this for fun. Because and they maybe have had it as a camper van. Is that a one-person camper van? I'm not sure. Yeah, Stan, the E6 on Gumtree. I know that. That's an interesting option. And of course, this one I love, my favourite. Again, price creeping up around, but still 22 grand. Had a chat to this guy this afternoon. Hopefully we can get this listed on AmazingEV because I've got a soft spot for Renault Zoes and Again, if you want to have a chat to them, there's some Facebook groups. There's a Renault Facebook group. There's Jamie Lovick's got one as well. There's a couple of people who've got one. Again, just fantastic around town. This was probably 17, 16 grand 6 months ago as well. But this one looks like in fantastic condition. I've got a soft spot again for Zoes, and they were officially bought out by Renault. They weren't direct imports. Again, little car. There's plenty of choices of little EV. You don't have to pay 30 or 35 for anything that's new at the moment. There's plenty of funky little cars, that sort of analog on the inside and EV on the outside, that can do the job. And again, that's Sydney Harbour in the background there, I think. Yeah, that's the AMP building. Very nice spot in the Domain. So again, take a nice photo. Get a nice background. Look how beautiful that car looks. Please do your best to get a nice background. Take some nice photos. Looks tidy on the inside too. It's almost brand new. That was a funky car. It was one of the first. Again, I think they were doing battery leases or something in Europe over this one. You bought the car and leased the battery, so it was super cheap. But they brought a few out here. Zippy car. He's gone out of his way to talk and tell the whole story of the car, so that's nice. It's always good. You just feel like you've got a better feeling from a private owner like this. Again, this one in Victoria, MG ZS EV, around the 22 mark. Pretty keen on the Nissan Leaf. That's the second gen Auto F 2020. At 24. These were struggling to get 20 around 6 months ago, 3 months ago. Keep moving on. 2020, that's the Queensland one we looked at before. The Ioniq 2020, again, there's a few people we work with on Facebook and good friends of the show that would swear by these cars. The range is extraordinary, 313 for a 55. And it's only done 55,000 Ks. Queensland plates again. Elite Auto. This is before the Ioniq. And again, this is when Ioniqs were reasonably priced. Just doesn't seem like the Ioniq 5 or 6 are rating at the moment. Yeah, Murray, you've got to, you don't take it out. You just take it around the corner, then take it home, the Zoe, and just plug it back in again at home. It's just like a house cat, the Zoe, I think. You just keep it close to home, let it out from time to time. Don't take it on big road trips. I think it's let's have a go at that. Get rid of that one. It's a lie. What do you think, Mrs. Amazing? More like a house cat, the Zoe, than something you'd take on a long distance. But again, this owner, Ioniq, well before the Ioniq 5, well before the Ioniq 6, and love to see the Ioniqs out there as well, a bit more competitively priced, but nothing at the moment. This one, have a look at this battery test, 93.5 on a 2020, done by Avalou. Again, didn't sponsor this one, but they've gone out of their way as a private seller to do the test. Tell me, how much confidence does that give a owner or a potential buyer when they see something like that? I've lost it. How much confidence do you think it gives a potential buyer when they see a battery test like that? I think it's really, really helpful. It gives them a lot of confidence. And if you weren't going out and doing it yourself, it's great that the seller has done that already. Here's another one, Queensland. This is an 18 Ioniq. Jumped around to a different one. Still pretty keen pricing. These were closer to 20 grand. This one's done 151,000 K. So again, that's pretty optimistic. Makes that other one look like a bit of a deal, actually. Can we find that again? Let's see if we can find that one again. Where's our Ioniq gone? 23,000 Queensland. Here it is. So this one at 24,000, done only 55,000 Ks with a 93% and a battery test. Much better deal, I think. What do you think, guys? That used to be 20 grand. It's probably, but again, compare that with a Leaf at 20 grand. That's not a bad deal at all. Again, 2025-ish. Reluctant sale, purchased in March 2021. Brisbane, I think that's nice. Again, that might be a deal closer to 20. We'll just see how these unfold. Maybe some of these ones that are a bit older and not Teslas and not BYDs might still be probably still attractive and won't hold their prices up. I don't know. I think that's pretty optimistic, that Ioniq at 151,000 Ks. And 2018, that's an optimistic. What about this funky? I know Jamie Lovett. He won't mind if I mention it. This one, he's just imported one of these from Japan. And I know he's paid a bit less than that, but there it is, the original Smart 4.2 EQ, actual EV, not a hybrid. Pretty keen, $25,000. Guys, what do you think of that one? That is, it is a quick test. It's check out the video, Hal, because 2 minutes, 3-minute test. It's really quick, and then they email it, the test straight away to you, So, it doesn't take long at all. Plugs an OBD, just plugs into the car itself. Tests almost just about every model, but very quick, very handy, and you get the certification straight away. It goes right down to battery level. So, very handy. We've done a video on that with Nathan Gore Brown, and he's gone out to someone's house, and we did that 335,000 Tesla Model Y that still had 86% or something like that. So 12, 13, 14 years of average driving and still at 86%. That's like 15 years or something of ownership, defying all expectations. So Smart 4.2, the original Smart EV, before they bought the other funny Smarts. This may not be a bargain. This, you'd have to have a bit of... it is one of a kind, my Smart 4.2, except for Jamie Lovett, who bought one as well, bought one out from Japan as well. Imported the car myself from the UK in 2021. Uses Renault parts, that's very handy, but keen pricing. So that makes you wonder also how many people have decided maybe they weren't going to sell. They were sitting around waiting. The market was a bit depressed. Maybe they've been waiting for exactly a time like this where the market has pumped up. So good that there's an opportunity, and like everything, swings and slides for those people who have been selling. It's been a really tough time, and they've had to cop it. It's the last quarter of last year and first couple of months of this year. So, there's swings and slides for everybody. Still some deals here, though. Again, the Ioniq, it's a lot of car. It's like a Toyota Corolla size at least, isn't it? A lot of car for the 2020, 25 grand, done 187. That's very keen. That should be under 20,000. I'm not going to tell them. Probably closer to 15 in the old days, but at 187,000 Ks. A couple of Leafs. Listen, there you go. They're all coming out of the woodwork now. Nissan NV200. How about that? Listen, you had so much promise. You'd done it all 10 years ago. I'd never even heard of this one. Nissan E. Cute little van. Looks like it's based on a Leaf. It's got the snout of a Leaf. And it's got the back end of a van. Must have been based on the platform of a Leaf. I mean, they were doing it. They know how to do it. Bring the Leaf back again. Bring something smaller, about the same size, before you just give up altogether. Nissan 25, bit keen. Not when you've seen the new Farazon and the Kia PV5, guys, already 50k. I think PV5 is going to be 55. The new Farazon, sorry guys, I can't remember, 49.99. That's cheaper than a Volkswagen Caddy. Like, seriously, unbelievable, right? Now we're starting to get, the van market's going to take off, guys. That is good. It is a cute van. Listen, you had it all there. You had it all going. There's my friend in WA. We're on Facebook. We're on car sales. Come on, guys. 52,000 K. That's a fantastic car. So page 1 of 1. It's Kia. It's MGZS EVs are still a bargain-ish if you can get one for 20. They're not selling. They're not going as fast. And still some Leafs, which were well, 8 or 9 and now 12 or 13 or 14. Yeah, and the Ionics. So there you are. That's the bargain basement in. We'll see if we can find something on Facebook Marketplace just for fun. I'm scared to go on Gumtree. We're broadcasting live. I hope we don't get into an endless loop. We're broadcasting live on Facebook at the moment, so I hope we don't. Thanks everyone. Thanks guys for watching. Where's my marketplace gone? Back to Rosco. Marketplace and buying. What can we find? Recent activity. I was looking through Teslas last night and could not find anything under 35,000. This was 30 grand all day long. Oh, not bad. A 2021 Model 3 done 31,000 Ks. That's pretty good. That's pretty exceptional for a 5-year-old car. That's hardly anything. Tiff Wood. Sorry to put your details up. There you go. But it's just amongst friends. That's not bad, but that was still 30 grand 2 months ago. Can we find anything marketplace recent activity? Can we find anything Canberra? Let's go back to Sydney town. Give us the best choice. See if we can find anything only by choice to give us the maximum choice. Sydney, North Sydney. Let's go out 500 Ks. Apply. I said Sydney. This is why people don't use Facebook Marketplace, is it? Because you can't. There we go. Switch. Create new listing. Selling. Today's picks. Search. EV. Under 30,000. It doesn't work like this. You can't do this, can you? No. And I think that's one of the tough things about Facebook Marketplace. You can spend hours on it. You can I look by brand. If anyone can teach me how to use Facebook Marketplace a bit better, because we do talk to a lot of people who are selling on Facebook to try and help them on AmazingEV. And I can't see, maybe, I'll sort by, here we go, distance, price, here we go. Lowest first. Let's go back to Tesla. Just see if we can get an outright quick switch. Lowest first. I said lowest first. Lowest price first. $1, 35, 31, 1, parts. That's the problem. We get parts and smashed and parts and charges. Tesla. Let's just go a bit tighter. Model 3. We'll have a quick look around. 35 for a 2021 Taramara Nat Wells. Sorry, Nat. 74,000 Ks. Yeah, that was 30 grand all day long. If this one, 31,000. Okay, there's still a reasonable deal there. That's true, Hal. I know. I am battling, but I'm just reluctant to spend any more of my life on Gumtree than I already have. 86,000 Ks, Tesla Model 3. Send me a link to one on Gumtree. Send me a deal. Find me a deal. Find me the best deal apart from the BYD on Gumtree, would you? The BYD E6. Is there anything under 30,000 like there was 2 months ago? Let's have a look. Model Y. Is there a Model Y? I'm so tempted. I might even look at listing my own Model Y. The prices are so good at the moment. Nearest first, lowest price first, Model Y. Again, all sorts of Model Y. Garbage. Before we actually get to some cars. All manner of rubbish. Rental cars, hubcaps, USB, tyres, everything. And that's why it's very challenging, except to just cruise around Facebook and just without getting it knocking it down. So try AmazingEV. If anyone wants to sell, don't try Facebook. No one can find you. I promise you, no one can find you. That's a rental. He's trying to rent that. The guys with 500 are trying to rent their cars out. There's Uber cars. I know all the tricks now. Wheels. No, I don't want to upgrade the wheels. That looks quite nice though. Range Rover wheels. Here we go. 31,000. Model 3. Okay, there's a couple. 95k. Dealer. Okay, all right. If you dig it deep enough, we can perhaps still get to something, already tightening up. So what happens when you make an inquiry on Facebook? If I reach out to this guy and have a chat, I get all the updates as to what is going on in terms of the price changes. So listed 10 weeks, probably put it back up to 35,000, back down to 32. Brand new LFP battery pack. So he's had new battery, new suspension. It's still putting off punters though. They're not keen. So yeah, look, there's under warranty. Interesting. So there you go. I mean, 32 grand, done 99,000 Ks. There's a bargain for you. New battery, new suspension, and can't find a buyer. I'm about to lose my voice. Parts. Thanks for joining me, guys. It has been a fascinating look around. I did promise before I was going to go. I remember now. I haven't forgotten. I was going to see if I could find a Ford Mustang EV. What are they selling for? I just don't see them on the road. Ford Mustang. I'd forgotten all about it. EV. I have forgotten all about it. Holy shit. Sorry. That's a real Mustang. Mustang. Oh, there's 1,000 of them. EV. It's E-Mustang, that's why. I wonder out loud whether the prices of used petrol cars have come down. It's a Mark E, isn't it? Mark E. I wonder if the prices, clearly, if used EVs have gone up in demand, then used petrol cars have gone down in demand, albeit a few thousand one way or another. The figures from AutoGrab are coming out this week, and I cannot wait to see the total market for used EVs and the total market for used petrol cars, because it's had to have come from somewhere. The whole market must be down generally. The economy isn't that good under these circumstances. With petrol prices being up, things are tighter, things are going slower. It's been a holiday week this week. I can't wait to see the outright sales numbers of petrol cars compared to EVs. So we'll find out and probably have some data by Wednesday night this week. Ford Ranchero. I can't find, I didn't say, Ford Ranchero. I didn't know there was a Ford Ranchero. Mark E. Ford. I'm going to give up. If I can't find one on the road, Mac E. Mustang Mark E. Ranchero. If you can't find one on car sales, Mustang EV, then how can you buy one? Austin FX. My grandfather had a Austin Maxi like that. Go back to screen sharing. I was just saying my grandfather had an Austin Maxi like that. I'm trying to find, can anyone help me? It's a Kona. Mark E. Thanks, Murray. No wonder they're not selling. Mark E. Ford. Not one, Murray. We can't find one. Ford Mac E EV for sale. Actually, traffic on AmazingEV is way up in the last month as well. We're doing really well, and we're rating really highly as well. So the SEO is kicking in. North Shore Matt. I'm just trying to find one. Dominelli Ford. Please, is it anybody? Oh, finally. It wasn't worth the wait. But we're going to go out on this note, guys. Thanks for joining me in our search for a bargain. has come to nothing on a Mustang. There's a purple one. Good grief. Look, these were not cheap when they came out, and they are still not cheap now. And look, I know it's... Look, I'm a fan of Chinese cars. They are going to be our bread and butter in future. We've seen some fantastic cars. The Zeekr 7X is half the price of this one, and literally half the price. 50 grand, 55 grand. Come on, guys. It's in Tasmania. Dealer, good luck. I know it's got everything. I know it's a Mustang, but seriously, there's some EV bargains out there. They don't lie with Ford at the moment. Ford, come on. If this is all you've got, please, God, please do something. Toyota, and look, I can't help myself. One last, my BZ for, I'm rooting for Toyota. I'd love, bring some more out. Drop the prices on these. You could get one of these for 45 grand for sale. You could get one of these for 45 grand 2 months ago. What do you pay now? What's the cheapest BZ4X? I jokingly said the other day, I think they're giving a new one away for every 1,000 fleet customers, but maybe that's closer to the truth than I think. But Toyota PR aren't talking to me. 2024 old school, 48 grand. That was 40 grand 2 months ago. So it's almost new, 4,000. Not a bad car. Could be 40 grand. Could be a bargain. I'll leave it there. Thanks for joining me, guys. It's been another great hour. Have a great evening. It's been a very relaxing cruise around. There's some bargains out there. They're Kia, they're Konas, they're Ioniqs, they're Nissan Leafs. They are a few ZS EVs and a couple of interesting things from Japan as well. There's a few EV bargains out there, but I really think things are going to start settling in the next couple of weeks. I think some of the prices are a little bit optimistic, and I think the petrol price scare is going to go away. I think the new forward orders are all going to come through on the new market. Can't wait to see what's going to happen, though, because it's moving fast, and we can sometimes barely keep up. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks, Hal. Thanks, Murray. Thanks, Mrs. Amazing. Good to see you guys, and we'll see you Wednesday night.